Welcome to today's NC3T Brown Bag webinar series. This is Hans Meter from the National Center for College and Career Transitions. I will be the facilitator for today's session. Today's webinar is entitled Integrating Career Development into a Pathways System. The Academies of Nashville initiative offers every high school student an intensive offering of college career pathway programs. The district systems of academies and pathways is nationally recognized and is integrated with a comprehensive approach to K-12 development. Today we'll be learning about the district's approach to career awareness, career exploration, and career development across all grade levels. Let me tell you a little bit about NC3T. We are a mission-driven organization focused on helping states, school districts, post-secondary educators, and workforce partners develop college and career pathway systems. We provide technical assistance, coaching, and consulting services. There are some printed resources available. The first two, the Employer Engagement Toolkit and the STEM Leader Guide, can be purchased through the NC3T website under the Resources tab. And the Building Advisories, the Boards That Matter, is available through the Association for Career Technical Education. Our newest book, The Power and Promise of Pathways, is due to be published soon. So today's topic, as we begin exploring the topic, I wanted to take a moment and remind our viewers about NC3T's Pathway System Framework. Here you'll see 5 components, all built around the goal of developing career and life-ready learners. There is an emphasis on cross-sector partnerships, building connections between K-12 post-secondary workforce and the employer community, an emphasis on career exploration and planning, developing multiple pathway programs of study, dynamic teaching and learning, and employer and community engagement. Today's topic focuses on component number 2, a well-organized career exploration and planning opportunities, helping learners make informed choices about careers and related education and training. Within this component, we recommend that the pathway system partners make sure that there is a comprehensive career development system for both K-12 and for adult learners, that every student develops a personalized career and education plan, that there is also a focus on helping prepare students to choose an appropriate pathway program of study, and that there is an emphasis attended to engaging parent and family members. So as we begin the presentation today, you will also notice that one handout has been posted in your navigation bar on the right side of the screen, Characteristics by Tier handout. You can download that now if you'd like to during the presentation. We will also be, after the presentation, for all the registered attendees, be sending a copy of today's PowerPoint as well as that handout. The first thing we'd like to do is get a sense of our audience today, and to do that we're going to be opening a poll and asking you to respond to this poll. And it's a very simple question. We'd like to ask, how far along is your organization, assuming it's either a school district or perhaps a college, in developing a comprehensive approach to career development? Is it fully developed? Is it partially developed? Is it in the planning stages? Or perhaps you're with a state education or research organization, so that question does not apply. So we will launch the poll now. If you just take quickly and tell us how far along your organization is in developing a career development model. We'll take 3 or 4 more seconds here, let people finish. Okay, we have 65% of people voting. And what we have is that 4% of the participants in today's session have a fully developed system. 34% say their system is partially developed. 23% are in the planning stages. And 37% of participants say this does not apply. A few more people are registering their votes, but those numbers are pretty consistent. So for the most part, people have partially developed a system or their system is in the planning stages. So now that poll should be closed now. Thank you very much. So now I would like to introduce today's presenters. We have Dr. Nicole Cobb. She is currently serving as the Executive Director of School Counseling Services for Metro Nashville Public Schools. Previously, she worked for the Education Testing Service as Director of Educator Relations and was also previously Director of School Counseling for the state of Tennessee. She has a great deal of policy and research work in the area of school climate, suicide prevention, college access, counselor preparation, educator evaluation, and effectiveness. And she led the development of the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards School Counseling Certificate. She earned a bachelor's, a master's from Tennessee Tech University and a doctoral degree from University of Tennessee. She began her teaching career as a language arts teacher at the middle school level and worked as a middle school counselor. And then joining Dr. Cobb is Mandy Springer. Mandy Springer is originally from Manhattan, Kansas, and graduated from Kansas State University with a bachelor's degree in elementary and middle school education. She moved to Nashville, Tennessee and taught as a middle school math teacher, and then earned her master's in school counseling from Tennessee State University, and now is in her 7th year as a high school counselor and says, "I absolutely love it." Mandy was awarded Counselor of the Year for Metro Nashville Public Schools in 2015. So we're delighted to have both Nicole and Mandy with us today, and I will turn it over to you now, Nicole.
Thank you, Hans. Metro Nashville Public Schools is a mid-sized urban district with approximately 87,000 students, which are high poverty, coming from over 100 countries. We have the largest Kurdish population in the U.S. Our district has 241 schools and 287 school counselors. Next slide. Our district has a strong commitment to career development starting in pre-K. This is evidenced by our district vision statement. As you can see on the screen, it reflects the district's goals of strong academics, but also, just as importantly, real-world experiences which prepare students for careers and the world of work. Next slide. In order to make our vision a reality, the district put together a College and Career Readiness Committee. In the winter and spring of 2015, 40 key personnel, business and partners met together to create a strategic action plan for developing career and college readiness pre-K through 12th grade. The process had 3 different phases: crafting a desired future for our students, identifying what needed to change in our schools and in our career programming to reach that future, and then identifying and aligning the strategies and actions across elementary, middle, and high school. Next slide. From this work, the following key priorities emerged. All schools will embrace and exhibit a college-going culture. Transitions between tiers will be successful as evidenced by the 5 characteristics, along with attendance, grades, and school involvement. Parents of all students will be included in career and post-secondary planning and access initiatives. A key takeaway from the group was that as we in the nation talk about college ready, our ultimate goal is career ready. We want our students to have successful, meaningful careers. Post-secondary training, whether it be a 4-year college, a community college, or a technical program, is just one step on the career path. Next slide. So when we say career and college ready, what do we mean? How do we measure these characteristics at each tier, elementary school, middle school, and high school? Our district came to a consensus on 5 measurable characteristics of each tier. So what you see on the screen now are those characteristics which we can measure for students when they graduate elementary school. Those are academically, socially, and emotionally ready for middle school, on track to score a 16 or higher on the Explore assessment. The Explore is a predictor assessment to the ACT, which Tennessee is an ACT state. The third one is social and emotional readiness, completion of a technology portfolio, and completion of a service learning project. Then in middle school, we want our middle school graduates to be academically, socially, and emotionally ready for middle school, on track to score 21 or higher on the ACT, be involved in at least one extracurricular activity, be technology proficient, and have completed at least one service learning project. And then the characteristics of every Metro Nashville Public School graduate is that they will graduate with a college credit, a nationally recognized professional certification or both, that they will score at least a 21 or higher on the ACT, that they will have a plan for post-secondary training and a career plan. They will have completed at least one course for high school credit online, and they will have participated in a work-based service learning or a capstone research project. Next slide. The characteristics demonstrate those things that we can quantitatively measure. As we all know, there are many other indicators that are equally important but much harder to measure in a quantitative way. To get at these important career skills, the Strategic Planning Committee came up with adjectives that describe those attributes students also need. You can see what they articulated in this word cloud on your screen. These are the skills that we teach during classroom guidance, advisory periods, and in high school we have a freshman seminar course, which you will hear more about later in the webinar. Next slide. Our strategic plan outlines activities and experiences all students should have by tier level. You can see some of those examples on this slide. It is important to note that career fairs, college visits all start in elementary school. We also provide our school counselors, administrators, and other school staff time to meet with each other by cluster. So elementary gets to talk to middle school about what they need, middle school to high school, so that we can assure strong vertical articulation in our career development model. Next slide. This is an example of the template Tennessee uses for students to develop a career plan. We have a state law which requires this plan to be initiated in 8th grade and renewed annually each year of high school. Many of you are probably required to do a similar plan. If it is not already a part of your plan, I would encourage you to make sure you are having students include workplace goals as well as their immediate plans for post-secondary training after high school. We want students to start thinking often and early about career goals in addition to where they want to go to college or obtain their post-secondary education. Next slide. Since the majority of you are coming from secondary or high school, I want to take the rest of our webinar to focus on our high school career development model. Once again, it starts with our vision. MNPS high schools are organized in small learning communities called the Academies of Nashville. Each student belongs to a career academy where they take a minimum of focused career courses in addition to all the courses they need to be admitted in a 4-year college or university. Next slide. We believe this academy model is a best practice. We are very proud that President came to Nashville and highlighted our career academies and our career development model. With this model, our students are getting a head start figuring out which career is the best fit for them. They get 4 years of coursework as well as opportunities to job shadow and have internships in their career focus area. Next slide. Our career academies are not developed by popular vote. We use workforce and labor data for our region to determine which careers are high skill, high wage, and in high demand in our area. We then work hand in hand with these industries in our region to partner with schools and students. Every field trip, college visit, job shadow, internship, etc. is planned intentionally and individualized for the students based on their career workforce goals. Next slide. As part of our model, students are also earning national industry certifications in the career focus area, as well as earning college credit in these focus areas while in high school. It's not unusual for a student to graduate with an associate's degree at the same time as earning a high school diploma. Next slide. So what does this look like in high school? I have one of our best school counselors, Mandy Springer, here to share these best practices with you.
Thank you, Nicole. As she mentioned, I'm Mandy Springer, and this is my 7th year as a high school counselor. So I'm just going to kind of walk everybody through what we do at the high school. And I am in charge of one of the academies. I have the CMT, Academy of Digital Design and Communication. So CMT, Country Music Television, happens to be one of our business partners. So they branded with our academy, and they do a lot of work with our students in our academy, but I'll get into that as we go through the grade levels. Our freshman academy has, and I'm going to talk kind of mostly about McGavock, but this does go across the whole district for Metro Nashville Public Schools. Our freshman academy has around 600 students. So we have 2 high school counselors that are responsible for those 600 students, and they divide them up, and they are with them just for the freshman year. After their freshman year is when they decide what pathway or career choice that they would like to explore, and that's when they get broken down into the career academies, and they'll stay with that same counselor for the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year. We do have open enrollment in Metro, so each of our high schools have different academies, pathways, and career choices that students, if they're interested in. So at McGavock, we house the CMT, Academy of Digital Design and Communication, which has the pathways of broadcasting, audio production, and digital design. We also have aviation and engineering. We have a hospitality and finance, and we have health science and law. So if we have students that are zoned for McGavock, but they don't have an interest in that, maybe they have an interest in teaching or electrical work, some of the other pathways, my mind just kind of went blank for a second, then they can go to the other high schools, and they have the option to enroll there as long as they have transportation to those schools. So we really want them to find the career choice that they're interested in and then find the right high school for them, so because they're going to be in there until they graduate. So all of our freshmen take a freshman seminar class, and in that class they're going to learn about the different pathways that we offer at our high school. They're also going to, at McGavock, they do a pledge to commit to graduate in 4 years, so they're signing a pledge saying that they will do what they need to do to graduate from high school within 4 years. We take all of our freshmen on a college tour, so all 600 of our 9th graders will step foot on a college campus in the fall, so they get the experience of what college is and what it offers, so they can kind of get excited to hopefully venture onto a college campus within the next 3 years. During our freshman seminar class, they do a professional skills fair where the freshman seminar teachers, along with the counselors, will work with them on their interview skills. They do an elevator speech. They do speed interviews with business partners and our community members. So we'll invite our business partners from our academies to the skills fair, and then we'll also have community members that come and help out with our students. They do a Dress for Success Day, so they know what to wear if they're going on a job interview, and they do an application and resume writing. So that's very beneficial for our students, and they're doing all of this during their 9th grade year. They also go to a career fair every year. So Metro Nashville Public Schools puts on a big career fair once a year that all of our 9th graders go to. So before that, during their freshman seminar classes and with their school counselors, they're researching careers and colleges that offer a career that they are interested in. They interview people at the career fair, and they work on their employability skills. And then they come back and they work on a college fair. We put on a college fair at McGavock, and then Metro also puts on a college fair open to anybody in the district that would like to come. But during that college fair, our 9th graders are going to research some colleges. They're going to work on some posters on colleges, and they're going to interview parents and teachers on what college they might have went to and get some ideas on where they're thinking about going. So all of that happens in the 9th grade year. We also put on an academy showcase for all of our 9th graders. So they're learning about the different pathways that they can choose while they're in the 9th grade. But we do an academy showcase where each high school does a different one each night. So if they don't want to come to McGavock, if they're interested more in being a teacher and they want to visit one of the other high schools that has a teaching pathway, they have the opportunity to go there and tour the school and see what academies are offered at that school and what pathways are offered there. The Academy Showcase is at night, so all parents can come, and they kind of just walk through and tour all the academies and all the pathways that we offer and see what's going to be the best fit for them. They also talk about this in their freshman seminar class, so that by the time they're leaving their 9th grade year, they know what pathway they want to be in and what academy they would like to be in. And we do our best job to get them their first or second choice. And then we also give the students an option to change after their 10th grade year. If they chose criminal justice and it's just not at all what they decided, we give them the option to change to go into whatever pathway that they would like to finish out their high school career with. So that is it for the freshman year. So next slide, please. So as I said, counselors in the freshmen, we have 2 counselors. They divide the freshmen. After that, the students pick what pathway they would like to be into, and then the roles change. So my students I'm going to have for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year, and then I have a little over 400 students, and so that's kind of average across the district for us too. So in the 10th grade year, they're in their first level pathway class. So in my academy, they're either in broadcasting, audio production, or digital design, and they're learning all the basics with the teacher. They also have this teacher for the next 3 years. So their broadcasting teacher, they'll have their sophomore, their junior, senior year. So they are able to build a great relationship with that teacher, and the teacher gives them some wonderful experiences that they can do. We take all of these students on a field trip to one of our business partners, and our business partners partner with our classes to help the students. They come in and they'll do presentations for the students. They come in and just kind of work with the students one-on-one. So we always take a field trip to our business partner site so they can kind of see hands-on what is involved in the field. So our broadcasting students will take them to CMT, and they get to tour the CMT studios. They'll do like little breakout sessions with them, so if they're interested more on like script writing or behind the scenes, and they get to work one-on-one with a professional at CMT. And we also will get them on College for TN, which is a site that we use pretty much every year that they're in high school. So they'll log on to College for TN, which they've already created an account, and they'll do interest inventories there so they can kind of see what their career interest is. They work on some career planning. They research some careers, research what they'd like to do in college. They work on their high school planning, and then we start talking to them about their financial aid planning. And then we use this to kind of talk with the students about how to select their courses for their junior and senior year and what they want to do after high school. Because by the time we get to their junior and senior year, that's when the students can look at doing dual credit through their pathway classes and earning the industry certifications. Next slide, please. The junior year is where we really are working with our students on what they want to do after high school, what career they'd like to, what the career they're thinking about joining, and what college they'd like to go to. So we created a course that we're trying to roll out at McGavick High School, and this course meets all 5 characteristics of an MMPS graduate. And so what these students are doing, they're in there all year, but they're going to work 9 weeks on a college success course. So they're on this site and they're researching careers, they're researching colleges, they're learning about different types of the difference between scholarships and grants and taking out a loan, the difference between a public and a private college, in-state and out-of-state tuition, everything college one-on-one that they're going to need to know, how to navigate the college campus, and just how to be successful in college. So they do that for the first 9 weeks, and then the teacher works with them on the personal finance class. It's a required graduation requirement. So she'll go over all that and kind of tie that into managing their money and making sure they're starting to save their money for college. And then the third 9 weeks, we go into an ACT prep, because all of our juniors get to take the ACT prep for free. Actually, they just gave it yesterday. And so the teacher will spend about 9 weeks of her time going over ACT prep for the students to help increase that their ACT score, because we'd like for all of our students to have a 21 on ACT. And then the fourth 9 weeks, our teacher goes with them and she starts talking to them about their senior capstone. All of our seniors take a senior capstone class where they're required to do a project and present on a career that's of interest to them, and it can do with their pathway or something outside their pathway. So she gets them ready for their senior capstone class, talks to them about their community service hours that they need to do, and so when they roll into their senior year, they're ready to work on that paper and work on that project and hopefully they were able to do some of their volunteer work with that organization over the summer. So, and then also in the junior year, we do college tours. We have 2 of our business partners in the CMT, Academy of Digital Design and Communication. We are partnered with Volunteer State Community College, which is one of our 2-year community colleges here in Nashville. And that's a great opportunity for our students in my academy because they have the same pathways that we offer at McGavick. So our students can roll right into Vol State Volunteer State Community College and continue with their broadcasting or audio production or digital design career path. They also have several other pathways that align with the other academies that we have at McGavick as well. And so they're one of our business partners. And then also being part of the state of Tennessee, we have the Tennessee Promise, where all of our students can attend a community college for free for 2 years. So this gives our students an opportunity, a little stepping stone to go to the community college for free, still continue in their pathway, their career choice, and then they can transition into a 4-year school to finish out their degree. We are also, our business partners also Middle Tennessee State University, which is a 4-year university. So a lot of our students will go from McGavick in audio production to Vol State in audio production, and then they can transition right into MTSU and finish out their degree in audio production. And what's nice about this is that all of our students have such hands-on experience at McGavick that when they walk into Vol State, they're above a lot of the other students that are in there, and so they can walk in and go straight to working hands-on instead of having to sit through the lecture classes that a lot of other students have to do. At the end of their junior year, we have them research a college and think about what they want to do over the summertime so that when they come back their senior year, they're ready, they know what schools they would like to enroll in, or yes, enroll in. And we'd like for them to have applied to at least 5 colleges by the end of October. So over the summertime is when we encourage them to visit schools, get online, research schools, try to figure out what they want to do so that they're ready to roll on their senior year. And then in the summer, we're working on starting a summer workshop where for rising seniors, where we'll have a breakout session on the application process, scholarships, financial aid, and just an outline of the senior year. So the students and parents are on the same page of what to expect for their senior year. Next slide, please. And then the senior year, hopefully they have an idea of what they want to do, whether it's going to college or just venturing out into the workforce and finding a career that's of interest for them. We offer dual credit in most of our pathway classes so that our students can earn a dual credit in their broadcasting class or their culinary arts class or criminal justice class. And then a lot of the classes offer an industry certification. So when they walk out of high school, they have an industry certification in medical technology or being a dispatcher for the police station. So they have all these industry certifications that our students can work for. A lot of our students do a work-based learning where they can get a job or do an internship with one of our business partners, and so they're able to leave and continue their experience and their career choice outside of school for part of the day. They work on their senior capstone project, which deals with what career they're interested in. Hopefully that still aligns with their pathway that they chose. And then they do a lot of career exploration there too for the ones especially that aren't quite familiar with what they want to do. We do one-on-one counseling for our 12th graders. We have parent meetings. All of our students are still on the College for TN site to help try to navigate what they want to do after college. We have career speakers from our business partners and just out in the community that come in and talk to our students, especially during our CTE classes, to kind of get them an interest in what they might be, what they might want to do after high school. So that's about everything that we do at McGavick and across the district. So right now I'm going to open it up to if we have any questions.
Great, thank you. Wonderful presentation from both of you, and you have prompted a lot of interesting questions. We should be able to get to most of these. If we can't, we will write them down and ask Nicole and Mandy if they might provide written answers to some of the ones we don't get to. So one question, a couple questions had to do with, and you mentioned College for Tennessee. Do you use any other sort of career interest inventories with the students? And do you use that college for TN with freshman students as well as the upperclassmen students?
So yes, our state pays and provides this web application for students, actually starting in preschool. So it has an elementary career development component called Pause in Jobland. There's a middle school curriculum and then a high school curriculum. So it's an account that students create early on, and it stays with them actually through post-secondary as well.
And do you know if there's a vendor that that runs that system, or is it just developed out of Tennessee?
There is a vendor. It's called ZAP, Z-A-P. However, it's been my experience that lots of states have similar vendors offering similar programs. Ours is free and is available for those outside of Tennessee if anyone participating in the webinar would like to go check it out. It's www.collegecolegefortn.org.
Okay, great. Question about identifying supply and demand for local labor markets, and how accurate do you know that supply-demand data is that kind of informs the pathways that are offered? Do you have anything to comment on that?
We get the initial data from our state Workforce and Labor Development Office, which is just the state government office. We then take that to our business partners for Metro Nashville Public Schools and show them that data and ask them, do you think that this is accurate data for your industries? And in addition to those conversations, to dig a little deeper in what are those specific skills, attributes, behaviors students need to master in high school in order to be well prepared for these projected jobs and careers. And so they work with us to not only develop the pathways, but also the curriculum in those pathways.
Okay, great. Here's a question about adult learners and perhaps students who have dropped out for a while and or some sort of alternative education program, or for the adult learners. Do you serve adult learners in the Metro Nashville system, and then how do you apply this kind of career development work for the adult learner or for the overage student?
So we do have what we call non-traditional schools that would serve not only adult learners, but those students that are considered overage and under credit. And I would say the model for their career development is not as robust as what is in our traditional academies or high schools, but they do have the College for TN accounts. There are professional school counselors in those schools working with the students, doing career interest inventories, aptitude assessments, and helping do some career and college advising.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Let's see here. So you mentioned about open enrollment between the schools, and we know that it's pretty high poverty student population. How are students able to get to other schools of choice if their zone school doesn't have something they're interested in?
Well, we would really want to commend our past mayor, Carl Dean, who before leaving office included in his budget public bus passes for all middle and high school students in Metro Nashville Public Schools. So 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, our students have access to public transportation.
Okay, great. Within a pathway, we talked about teachers. How many teachers typically work within one pathway program, and how many preps would those, particularly the elective teachers, the pathway teachers, have to deal with every day?
Our pathway teachers we have one teacher per pathway. So I have one broadcasting teacher, and he would have 3 preps because he would have broadcasting 1, broadcasting 2, and broadcasting 3. And our pathway classes, the majority of them are limited to 25 students, where other teachers can have 35. Just because we have so much equipment in there, and for safety issues, they like to keep those numbers low.
Okay, great. So you mentioned some of your local, in terms of colleges and connections to post-secondary education. Do you have connections to non-public post-secondary education and training providers such as ITT or Strayer or some other sort of for-profit colleges in the city?
So we do, as well as private schools. So we have partnerships with Watkins School of Design for those students wanting careers in the art or film field. Vanderbilt University would be an example of a private institution. I think that what I would say about our for-profit partnerships is that we have pretty deep and meaningful conversations around, you know, what is in the best interest of our students. And we do not want our students paying triple or the cost of what it is to get the exact same certification they could get for free in our state. So we work closely to make sure we're providing high quality career advisement when we're working with for-profit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's an interesting question about students who perhaps have a lot of interest in a particular career area, but they're struggling academically. How do you advise them in terms of what they should pursue, what's realistic, and how they could, you know, end up doing something meaningful even though they're academically struggling?
We work with a team of teachers, so I have a 10th grade team, so everybody that's in my academy will have the same math teacher, same English teacher, world history teacher, Spanish teacher across the board. And so we meet once a week as a team of teachers, and we talk about what each teacher is going over, and we do a lot of project-based learning with our students, and we tie it all back into their pathways. So what they might be doing in math, they're tying it back into their audio production or their broadcasting or their digital design class, because we realize that a lot of our students, they have an interest in that pathway but not in the academic, but they know that they have to have that for graduation. So our teachers do a great job working together and collaborating with each other to kind of tie it all back into the pathways.
Okay, great. There's a question here, can you share the checklist? I'm not sure exactly which checklist that might be talking about.
The freshman checklist? Yes, we can. Yes, we will be happy to share that.
All right, good, thank you.
So we're just talking, there's two checklists that our counselors use. One, they can see some good national model checklists on the College for TN site, and then Mandy will share with you Hans, which she uses at McGavock High School.
Okay, great. How flexible are the pathways in light of changing future job statistics? Do certain pathways have planned shutdowns? Are any new ones being created to reflect growing trends? There's always going to be a space issue, so anytime you have a new program, it's probably going to require something else kind of phasing out. So what does that look like in terms of the school system?
So we have a long-term plan when we need to phase out an academy or a pathway and then phase something new in. It is a long-term process because students need to have a minimum of 3 focused electives in the pathway to meet Tennessee graduation requirements. So we must plan, you know, somewhat far out. But we're using the data from Workforce and Labor that's projected out at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years to guide those decisions. An example would be we're closing some of our cosmetology academies and we're opening additional STEM, engineering, robotics, those sort of academies.
In some of those, there are some places where they'll open a new program, and even though there's a workforce demand, there isn't a strong student interest. So how do you deal with trying to generate student interest in programs where there's strong opportunity, but perhaps students don't understand the program or feel like it's going to be too difficult?
Well, I would say we start the education using the data with students starting in middle school, So students understand that you need a good balance of not only what you like to do, but also what's going to earn you the quality of life that students want. So we're doing lots of activities in middle school around budgets and how much does it cost to have an apartment, to have a car, to have a child, to go to college, those sorts of things, so that students really do start to understand how the pieces fit together. We've been fortunate in the district since we started the academy model in 2006 that most of our academies are full and that there is high student interest in the majority of academies across the district.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Someone asked for that website again. It's college4tntennessee.org. college4tn.org. Okay.
And Hans, I can send you the link if you would like to share that with participants after.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay. Question, how are you securing the internships for all of these students? Additionally, are they receiving course credit? Is the internship program standardized, meaning it has the same number of hours, assignments for every student, or is every internship somewhat customized?
So they are somewhat customized, but it is attached to a course. The course it's attached to is our senior capstone course. Although students can begin earning hours or meeting the requirements for their senior capstone as early as 9th grade. We work with our business partners by academies to develop what that internship will look like by career, by pathway. So each school counselor, we also have a position in our schools called Academy Coach. They work closely with the business partner, the classroom teachers, and the students to develop that internship model.
Okay, great. A lot of school counselors get swept up in day-to-day crisis and particular social-emotional counseling, and some of them don't have really much in the way of training relating to career counseling. Do you give your school counselors any special training in career development?
So I think that would be accurate with our counselors, that they do spend a great deal of time with students in crisis and dealing with personal social issues, social emotional learning, and we really, those kinds of things just overlap and interact when you're talking to a student. Maybe you call them in about academics and then you end up talking to them about some personal things going on in their lives. So our counselors, are working with students in all the 3 domains and dealing with crisis and putting out fires every day. We do provide our counselors some professional development in their pathway that they are assigned. A lot of that comes through some optional things they can go to through our Career and Technical Education Office and their director. Another example of an opportunity is in the summer, teams from each high school participate in what we call externships with a business partner in their pathway. So teachers, school counselors, and administrators spend 2 weeks actually out in the industry doing their own sort of internship so they can better learn what it's like on the ground in those careers, in those jobs, and then use that to inform their programs and practices back at the high school.
Great. We have a lot of other questions that we will have to put into writing. Let me just kind of segue into one final question, and it relates to teachers. How do teachers, particularly the non-pathway teachers, but your core English or social studies or science teachers, do they get any support in integrating career themes into their classrooms?
Yeah, like Nicole said, we do externships during the summer with our team of teachers, and we meet once a week so we can kind of talk about how to plan for the core subjects of English and math. And I feel like if our teachers don't feel like they fit in with our pathways, then they have the option to move to a different academy that they maybe would be better at. We have a teacher that is an excellent physics teacher. Well, he's on our engineering team. So I think our principal kind of tries to place people based on their interests. But then we just work together as a team to plan our PBLs, our project-based learning, to, like we did a huge World War I with our history class, and our math teacher, they did catapults so they could talk about the math and the projection of the catapults. And then our English teacher, they researched stuff about World War I and wrote paper about it. So they kind of tied it into all of the areas for the students.
Those weekly team meetings are really key to every teacher on the team feeling integrated and involved in the scope and sequence of the curriculum.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you. I know you're doing so much at the school district, and it's very strategic and comprehensive. So thank you for giving us a snapshot of what that looks like. So we would all like to thank Dr. Cobb and Ms. Springer for sharing with us today. We will also be notating those additional questions to them and then sending those out as part of the follow-up materials. We hope everyone enjoyed today's session. Next month, we are looking to have a panel of school principals that are leading pathways efforts inside their high schools. So that should be a really great panel discussion. We will give you the date and time of that as soon as that is finalized. And we would also like to keep improving the work that we do with these monthly webinars. So at the conclusion of this webinar, if you would please fill out the brief survey that you will receive. Thank you again for attending today's webinar. Please stay in touch with us and have a great day.